Hello and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures, where I'm not recording the thing I thought I was going to record and had initially planned to record. I had planned to have two cameras set up and to have a camcorder and to be able to do multi-camera stuff. I've even got the scenes set up, so I've got a scene that you're looking at now, and there's another scene which would have been the camera over here, and then there'll be a separate camcorder which could be spliced into it by my lovely video editing guy. So my basic ones would have been with the two cameras, and I could swap between them with a click of the mouse. Unfortunately, you know what happens to plans when they come into contact with life. I don't have a second camera, and I don't have a camcorder. I had both of them in the basket for the evil rainforest identifying organisation, which we don't mention other than as the evil rainforest identifying organisation. And then I had to use the money for stuff that wasn't that. Also, my poor old camera is in the way out, on the way out. It's probably now beyond economic repair. The thing that's wrong with it is the battery cover has broken, and the fix to the battery cover has also broken because the little spring-loaded widget put too much stress on it, and the little clip that closes it shut doesn't work properly anymore, or isn't strong enough. So I'm going to have to get one of these again. This is going to be, I had a look, about 500 quid for the cheap ones, 600 or 700, or maybe 800 if I have to go for a DLSLR, because I don't know how available these are. I've been told they were out of production for a while. But that's also the battery issue. Turned out to be a dead battery rather than the chargers. So I now have this one, which is a charger, and that's the dead battery. So that's going to go in the recycling. I also have my normal battery charger, which is still plugged in, which works fine on the battery from the beyond economic repair camera that I've got downstairs, which I'd used before. And we've now got, and there's another one waiting to go back to Amazon when I work out how to do that. Sorry, evil rainforest identifying entity, because Idiot Boy ordered two of these chargers. Don't know why, but I think it's rather too easy to repeat an order on with the evil rainforest entity. In fact, but as I say, I try and find them from elsewhere, but emergency things, I may have to see if my local camera shop can get hold of something like this and save up, because I do not have £500 to £600 that I can just splurge on things. I thought 120 or so I could splurge on a little camcorder and a second webcam, but apparently I can't do that because I have to hire a moving van. Not because I'm moving, but because the beta site is closing down and I need to get some stuff out of the beta site, and the current occupant of the beta site is getting really, 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 really busy and ringing me up continually asking for organisation. So that's all going off in the background. I've also got something to do for Company's House, which I still don't understand what the hell they do, what the hell they want, and their explanations, as usual, are unhelpful to the point of making everything more confusing. So I've got to do that probably this week before they fine me for not doing the thing I didn't understand. So, as I say, that is what's going with Evil Ginger. However, work has been going on, even so. Not photographed as much as possible because this was on but 1 bar of battery charge, and I was trying to get as much out of it as possible. Whilst the new charger turned up. I've not turned the timer on again, have I? Haven't I? Oh well. Let's turn the timer on. I'm not really professional at this, not yet. Anyway, on the positive side, I have been doing a lot more of the Baron's War stuff. This is a Lowland Scots noble that I have nearly done for the Anarchy. He's going to be the foot commander of one of the Scots retinues, because I shall also be doing bits and pieces out of the war with the Scots, which was connected but occurred just before the outbreak of main outbreak of violence. I thought I saw something behind me. Oh well, no, I didn't. Also, a very sad weekend because I used the last of my mud colour, which I've been using on bases for years and years and years. And again, another job for the weekend would have been going down to, and it's now out of production, unfortunately, as far as I can tell. Would have been going to go down to Wicks and get them to mix something, because I've got a whole load of scenery that I need doing with that, and an emulsion paint is basically an acrylic paint, and I can use it on the scenic boards that I'm doing for that, and possibly on the bases, because I only ever use that colour on the bases. I have a similar colour in the Reaper range called Bone Shadow, and it doesn't cover quite as well as that, which is odd for a Reaper paint, because they're normally very good like that, but it's one of the few that is a little bit watery, and it's really only good for, I used it on this one just to colour the sand as a thin mix. As I say, it's almost identical colour after you've painted it on the sand, but I'll need to get some more of that organised, and that will probably be another couple of weeks before I have the funds to do all of that, because that's what things are like around here, is every time I think I've got any money to invest in anything, it ends up getting spent on something else, and it drives me up the flipping wall because of emergencies. Also very cunningly managed to lose the company debit card over the weekend. Indeed, after I'd added it to the Evil Rainforest entity in order to order this, I dropped it somewhere, and I spent most of yesterday crawling around on my hands and knees on the office floor trying to find it. Once I'd given up on finding it, I cancelled it because I thought I'd done something really stupid with it, and I had, as it turns out. But I found it immediately after I'd cancelled it when I went to put some stuff in the bin, and realised that I'd actually put it in a bin, or I dropped it and it had fallen in a bin. So the house, the office is a lot clearer than it was. However, I need to hoover the carpet again because there are bits. Yeah, it's been one of those weekends. So I'm now pretty much unable to access any of the money I have even in the company because of not having a bank card. Brr. But the battery problem is solved. I've been getting work done and things have been coming along. I've got all of the black band launch decks done. They are currently sitting with the last of them, the varnish on the last of them drying, and probably over the weekend I will be going over them, making sure I've not missed anything, as in 84 figures. Well, it's more than 84 figures, it's about, might be nearly 100. That's entirely a possibility, and once I've done that, I'll matte varnish them. I also need to highlight them. I've got highlighter paint somewhere, which is my one bottle of modern GW paint. I've got some bottles of old GW paint about the place because I used to use it quite a lot at one point. But things are developing. The camcorder will allow me to do games in the workshop when I've cleared the area. The current area is full of Frostgrave scenery that I'm building, and a graveyard that I'm building as well. Graveyard will feature lots of these, and represents me cleaning up, the commission backlog that I built up while I was not well this time last year. What else is going on? I'm getting vaguely tempted by pillage, and have bought bits and pieces. These are some half-painted barrels. I'm trying to work out how to hold these while I paint them, because I don't like paint handles, and normally I'd put these on a base, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to base them, so I haven't yet. But that's a pack of barrels from medieval barrels from Victrix. I have some medieval sacks around the corner, also from Victrix, and I'll be painting those up, as well as probably, if you had a look in on the Facebook page, you'll have seen a mystery parcel turned up. Now, I thought this was my Reaper order. In fact, I thought this was my Reaper order until it arrived, and I realised it was part of, I think, a order I put into the sprue shop, which is Norman. And what I got was Norman crossbowmen, a load of Norman heavy cavalry, who will be the mounted versions of the foot knights that I've got. I might do a mounted version of him, I haven't decided yet, but definitely his lord will be a mounted version. And I will some extra archers, because that's how I make these little light infantry characters, like this guy. He's a kitbash. I think it's mostly a slinger body, and that tall axe is from the archer set, and the archer set is good for all sorts of things. As I say, I killed one of these because it fell off into the debris field that was the floor, and it got crushed at some point by putting stuff on top of it, or stepping on it. I think putting stuff on top of it, given where it was. So I need some more sort of camp followers and stuff like this guy. So that's what the archer spree is going to be turned into. I've got plenty of archers, and I've got 16 crossbowmen now, which is probably more than I need, but again, I have ideas. I also got a sprue of the folk rabble, who are sort of a fantasy, but medievalish fantasy, with a view to using their arms because they've got farm tools on the simpler archer bodies, just to add a little bit of variety to the amount of coffee. This is disgusting. Sort of basic levy that's going on, and I think I've got more stuff on order, which is mostly wizardy stuff for my Ars Magica campaign, which is set at the same time. So I'm going to be blending Ars Magica bits with, I'm going to be blending Frostgrave wizardy bits with these, with Victrix models, to get a sort of period wizards. I've got a couple of them that I'm in process of kit bashing, but I'm rather waiting for parts. That's, I almost grabbed them by the head. That's one of them in civvies, and that's another one of them in civvies. Again, got to sort hats and heads and stuff like that out. And I also have the Norman cavalry, that I'm like unarmored cavalry, that I'm in process of doing, and the horses, which I haven't done a great deal on. And this guy, who might be someone's champion, who's a Victrix Saxon. Not particularly fond of doing two-handed weapons. I had to faff around with this one. As you might be able to see, there's a bit of green stuff on there, just filling a gap because I couldn't get the damn thing to line up for the life of me. I've also got the KNLI stuff over there, and that's in process. But again, I did the base with this colour, so it's been rather waiting for me to get some more of those. I subsequently coloured in most of the bases with a little bit of the bone shadow, which I'd grab hold of it, but I had to tidy up in here, so I can't find anything anymore. It's probably over there on the shredder, being stacked. But as I say, having my hand defending flicking card, which is very much here, but very much dead. But this is the works card from the which is now stopped and is only sitting on the shredder because the shredder is a heavy duty thing and has got the ability to shred plastic cards. So when I've cleared the top of the shredder, it will get fed through it to get rid of it, as obviously it's a security risk. You can't just throw it away, even though I did attempt to throw it away myself by accident, because I get very, very tired and overtired, and when I'm overtired, I don't know what the hell I'm doing sometimes, and I try and get to bed when I get like that, but because no good comes from forcing myself to stay awake. But unfortunately, various points I have to force myself to stay awake because of deliveries and stuff like that, and I can't do stuff in the middle of the night all of the time because normal people, shocking, work normal hours. Shocking, I know, but it's a thing. But things are coming along, and I'm feeling a little less stressed about everything now. I've got a camera that I can charge, and I will be back to painting stuff at my previous rate. In fact, I may very well do an assembly thing after this as a bonus content. I have not decided yet, but I thought I would get an EvilGinger Tuesday update out, even though it's not the update I intended it to be. Well, I think I've been rambling for quite some time. The timer says I've been going for about 12 minutes, but I was whittering to you before I remembered to turn the timer on. So you've probably had more than enough of me for now. So I will leave that there. Thank you. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.